It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment rights. Welcome to 2 full hours of Gun Owners Radio. Your hosts, Dave Stahl, Joe Germisi, and Michael Schwartz will teach you about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your rights to keep and bear arms. Visit gunownersradio.com with questions to learn how to become a sponsor of Gun Owners Radio and get involved. Together, we will win. Now here's your hosts, Dave Stahl, Joe Germisi, and Michael Schwartz on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks, welcome to Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
That was Michael Schwartz, folks, in case you're wondering. No. We got Wendy in the house. Wendy's taking the chair of Michael. He's out of town right now. Hey, and we really want to welcome a brand new sponsor, Scott Vinson from Cold Wall Bankers Royal Realty. Man, we are so excited to have Scott Vinson join us as a show sponsor. Scott is a San Diego County gun owner board member and has supported our efforts to defend and restore the Second Amendment from start. So if you're moving, let fellow Second Amendment supporter and real estate broker Scott Vinson help you sell your home and find you a new one someplace else in the U.S. Give him a call at 619-948-2459, 619-948-2459, and tell him you heard it all about it right here on Gun Owners Radio. That's Scott, 619-948-2459. So we got our very special guest host, Wendy Hauffen. She's in the house today. And so what do we got on the itinerary today, my dear?
Couple of really cool interviews later in the show. But first, I really wanted to mention Gun Owners Radio is hosting a law enforcement training scholarship right now. We've done this before, if you've been listening for a while. If you don't know, a lot of law enforcement pay for their own training out of pocket. If they want to do anything above and beyond what the department provides, which isn't much, then they go and pay for their own classes, they pay for their own ammunition, all of that stuff. So one of the things that Gun Owners Radio does is promotes a scholarship where we help pay for classes for law enforcement to attend, which is super cool. So go to our website, gunownersradio.com, and click on the link for the law enforcement scholarship to help support.
Were you as shocked when you heard that as I was?
I was. It's.
You thought it would be just
Yeah.
a no-brainer that if anything, the police departments would be pounding their officers with training.
Right. At least have some sort of budget to allow
Farthest
them.
thing from the truth.
Well, and the problem, too, now is, with all the pressure to defund the police.
Well, that, too.
I mean, the first thing any company does when their, funding is at issue is training gets cut.
Right.
I mean, everybody does that. So with the police, it's a big deal now if you're going to cut their training. So.
It's unbelievable.
But it shouldn't be surprising.
So I did it. I mean, and I was happy to do it, and got an officer trained, and I'm sure he or she was thrilled. And
Yes.
because, by the way, folks, you wouldn't work for the salary that a police officer just starting out. You would not work for that wage and do what they have to do.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah, I think cheap is the word. So who else we got? Who else we talking to today?
Well, before we get to the interviews, we wanted to let everyone know that the Stephen Willeford Magnum interview was just released on our YouTube channel. So go check that out on our YouTube channel. Joe, do you remember? Can you describe the interview a little bit?
No, because I didn't do the interview. So I can't really describe it, but I'm sure I've met Stephen Willeford before, and it's an interesting character, and I'm sure Michael does a great interview.
He does.
So I'm sure it's going to be a really interesting thing to watch.
Who is this gentleman, in case somebody maybe doesn't know?
So Stephen Willeford was the man several years ago when they had the church shooting. Oh, you got to narrow it down, I guess, in Texas, where the guy pulled up in the parking lot. He shot a bunch of people in the parking lot. He went inside the church, shot some more. He came back out, and Willeford his house was like right across the street.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
And his daughter was there, and they heard it going on, and they looked down and saw what was happening. He grabbed a rifle, ran down the street, and confronted the guy. The guy jumped in a car, and I think Willeford hit him there in the parking lot. The guy jumped in the car and drove away. Willeford flagged another guy down who was driving down the street. He jumped in his truck and they both chased him a couple of miles down the road, and they caught up with him, and I think the guy ran off the road or something, but they were there, had him at gunpoint kind of when the police pulled up. So he tells that story. So it's a pretty good story.
Great one. Yeah. So that's on our YouTube channel?
That is.
How do they find it?
It's youtube.com/gunownersradio.
Bingo.
I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Just go to YouTube and
type
search
in
for
Gun Owners Radio. You'll find it.
And if I could get away with for the next hour and 45 minutes, I would like to sit here and say, vote, 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 vote. And if I thought I could get away with it, I would.
Just like the Democrats. Right?
It's
vote.
so important that we go out and vote. If not tomorrow, Tuesday, we have to do it.
Right.
Well, and like Michael always says, not just you go out and vote, but make 10 of your friends get out there and vote and do something. It's, like I said, the other side's very organized. President Biden will be out here tomorrow stumping for Newsom.
And the candidate that you vote for isn't actually as important as
we don't
voting.
even care.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
vote yes first. That's the biggest thing. Because Michael mentioned that last week, and I after he said it, I could believe people are this dumb. But he said he was hearing that there are actually people that are voting like for Larry Elder, but not checking yes or no, just voting for the person they want, which is useless. So, unless that yes vote wins, none of the other stuff matters.
Right. So the first question on the ballot is whether or not we want to recall Newsom.
Right.
If that one does not pass, then the second question about which candidate replaces him doesn't even matter. So we need to make sure that everyone votes yes on the first question to recall Newsom. And then you can select the candidate of your choice.
Yeah, or do a write-in if you so choose. If you have somebody, I mean, it's a wasted vote if you do a write-in, but at least try to vote for somebody that you think is going to do a better job than what Newsom's doing. And this is only the beginning, because if we're going to turn this state back to the Golden State, remember it used to be called the Golden State? You remember that, right?
Well, it'd be hard to go to be worse, because I remember I was shocked that they reelected Jerry Brown.
And
now I'm looking back at Jerry Brown.
We thought Jerry Brown was the worst, and it couldn't get
Not
any
anymore.
No, but remember that? We thought, well, how bad could it be?
That's
Jerry Brown.
I'd love to see Jerry run again.
I'd love to see Jerry Brown. I bet he is laughing his you-know-what off right now.
It's one of those hold my beer moments.
Oh, Lord. I mean, he actually, when he did a campaign, well, I didn't do really good last time. I kind of messed everything up, but you vote for me this time.
Wow.
I'll fix it. That was his campaign. And what did we do? Not me. We voted him back in again, and it was another disaster. But this guy takes the cake. And I don't think I'm ever going to say that anybody could be worse, because my luck, it would be. So vote. Vote
yes on the recall, absolutely.
Yes. Gun prom?
Gun prom's coming up, you guys.
Yeah, still got tables? Still got seats?
We are pretty much sold out, but I'm super excited to say that we are just under 1,000 people. So we're at like 970, I think. It's getting tight. But it's going to be so much fun.
It's a blast.
Yeah. I mean, we've got some really great people in the room. We've got some really cool prizes to give away.
Auction items.
Really good auction items. Live auction, silent auction.
And you'll see people there that could be your neighbor, and you'll go, I didn't know you were into guns.
Yeah, we've had that happen a bunch of times.
I had it happen to me. A guy worked with an El Cajon at a car lot. I had done some TV for him, and he's walking around with a fistful of raffle tickets. And I go, what the heck are you doing here, Carl? He's like, are you kidding? I'm a gun carrier. I was off, you son of a gun.
Yeah. So check it out. We have already closed ticket sales, but make sure you mark your calendars for next year once we set the date out. So
what's Chipman denied? Oh, that guy.
Chipman, yeah.
Don't even give
Joe's
me.
going to be talking about it later.
We will be talking about him about 5.
And
we'll
what's enough? ENUF.
We'll talk about that soon, too.
We'll talk about that, too?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just a dude playing. Oh, wait a minute. I carry away there. Just a dude in California who likes guns and cameras. Reno May is our special guest.
But first, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and there's no guarantee that the justice system will be on your side. Gun owners should have coverage for the legal battle after your self-defense battle. And while you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7. 365 days a year with comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does our coverage. Hey, and guess what, Gun Owner Radio listeners? You can get 2 free months of coverage when you join. Use promo code America1 at uslawshield.com/America. All right, Wendy, who we got on the line?
We're super excited to have Reno May on the line with us. Reno, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Welcome, welcome.
Happy to be here.
So you're just a dude in California who likes guns and cameras. Your YouTube bio says that you worked at a gun shop for a while and made videos for that business, and then you decided to pick the channel back up and make videos again. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to put it. We started the gun store or channel back in 2016, I believe, and that was right around Gunmageddon, which a lot of you are probably very well aware of, when a whole slew of bills was passed, and some of them were going into effect then, some of them were going into effect later. And we would get so many phone calls every single day and get so many people coming into the store asking, the same questions about, hey, what's this law? What's this law? How do I get a gun? How do I do this? Can I get an AR-15 anymore? Which I think we all know the answer to nowadays. But there was so much confusion that we figured it would be best to, rather than have to spend 10 to 12 minutes on the phone with someone explaining the ins and outs of the law, it would be a lot easier if we could just record it once, do it perfect, and then direct our customers to that, because we thought it would be a better source of information. Mm-hmm. And then the gun store closed down in about 2018, and I kind of just walked away from it at that point. I didn't have the access to the firearms to really talk about. I didn't really see how I myself would fit into it at that time. And then, I just one day in 2019, because that was the year a lot of laws changed with how to buy a firearm in California, with the age limits. With if you were 18 to 20, you would have to get a hunting license to get a firearm at all. I think that was that year. And a lot of people were commenting, asking if anything changed, how the process changed. And I decided, what, I got tired of getting the emails because I couldn't figure out how to turn off the comment emails and whatnot. So I figured I'll just make a video. I'll explain all that stuff. And then, I'll just walk away from it again. And then the next week I made another video, and the next week and the next week. And then, it kind of just ended up being, here we are. And I think it kind of took a life of its own as this little side gig job that I do. And I like to keep to that. I'm just a guy in California who's talking about stuff. And I think that for me, that's kind of I like that. I want to encourage other people to have that same level of communication and discussion with other people, and hopefully get other people to, share the wealth and share the knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, you're downplaying it a little bit when you say that it took on a life of its own. I mean, you've got a massive following. So, what is it now?
I think a little over 150K on YouTube.
That's fantastic.
Which is, I'm very pleased with.
So what's your favorite part about running the channel? Is it all of the comment emails that you get? Did you ever figure out how to turn those off?
I did eventually figure out how to turn that off. That was a must figure out after the first few videos went live in 2019. I think the coolest thing for me is I know that there's a few of my subscribers that have, and this is something that I kind of, I mentioned the other day, I think, a few of my subscribers actually found out about court cases that were going on that were being supported by, CRPA, FPC, and various other organizations, San Diego County gun owners. I can't remember which specific one it was, but they found out about a court case because of my channel and me talking about it. And then they ended up being able to become a plaintiff in one of those court cases. And I'm not going to say their name specifically because I don't know how much they want known about who they are specifically. But I think that was probably the coolest thing for me, because that was a very tangible way to show that there is a difference being made.
Right. That's super cool. Very nice. So what about the flip side? What's the worst part of running the channel?
I think, the worst or the hardest part about running a channel is trying to stay humble and stay true to like what I want to be about. I think it's very easy to get kind of lost in the YouTube game and maybe start letting your morals slip. And it's something that, you might see in some channels here and there in various other spheres. And I just didn't want that to happen to me. I wanted to kind of stay as normal as I can. So, I mean, you'll still see me commenting on various social media platforms on my, personal or my gun accounts. My Reddit account is I'm still out there and people still notice me there. And it's just funny when people spot me in the wild on various other platforms. But I think it's hard staying up to date. I think the most difficult or the worst part about it is just it's a lot of negativity that you have to deal with, in the sense that like laws are changing, and if a law is bad, which is generally the ones that we're constantly trying to fight, it's just, you're kind of delving into the realm of not fun situations. Because, obviously all of us would love if the Second Amendment was interpreted the way it should be interpreted by some of our legislators, but it isn't. So we kind of always have to be on like fighting and fighting and fighting. And that, I think, for some people is difficult to deal with.
So I work for San Diego County Gun Owners, and one of the coolest things that we've seen with the creation of our organization is that there have been moments where we've had good news. I think I totally feel you where you say, it feels like all the time it's just bad news. It's sharing about all these horrible gun laws and all of this stuff that they're doing to gun owners to try to take away our rights. And it's been very, very cool to be able to see how people react when there is hope, when we do fight back and we do accomplish things like turn around the CCW policy in San Diego, or get a really good ruling in a lawsuit, and people just get so excited. And that's one of my favorite parts about working for an organization like San Diego County Gun Owners. So speaking of spotting you in the wild, you were saying about staying humble, do you ever get recognized? The grocery store?
I think so. I do. And when I talk to other people that are similarly sized to me, I think I get recognized more often than other channels similarly sized. And I'm sure Anthony Miranda with Armed Scholar probably has the same opinion, I would assume. I feel like I get recognized way too often for how large of a channel I have. I feel like I get stopped in public more often than I would expect. And I think that's mostly because I am so focused on California and I live in California. So it makes it much more likely for me to run into a subscriber, since so many of that 150,000 is local in a sense. I mean, California is a massive state. We all know that. But it's interesting. I think the first time that I got recognized, I was not prepared for it at all. And it was a good interaction. But I was at a gun store in an area that I don't normally go to, and I got recognized there. And I was like, "Oh, cool! Like this might be like a thing that happens in the future. That's neat." And then the first time I got recognized, not at a gun store, I was like, "Okay, wow, this is like actually a thing that happens to me now, because this isn't this isn't at a gun store. It's not at a gun range." So that was pretty interesting. And I've had someone buy me a beer at a restaurant before. And the first time, I think that's only happened like once or twice. But the first time that happened, my then fiance, now wife, were sitting down at the table, having dinner, having drinks. And the waiter brings over a beer, and they're like, "Here, the gentleman over there wanted to get this for you." And I was thinking like, oh, someone's doing like one of those like pay it forward things. That's pretty cool. And then I thought to myself, wait, there's no way that this person recognized me and bought a beer. So I kind of look around and I like make eye contact, and they're like, someone waves me down and they're like, "Oh yeah, hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate what you do." And I was like, no way. That's funny. And they actually said that they found out about Sonoma County's CCW policy being more open now, and ended up getting their concealed carry permit after thinking it was impossible. because of a video that I made. And that was super cool. That was probably one of the coolest random encounters I've had.
Well, it sounds like you've got the right attitude, because once you put yourself out there, even though you weren't planning on putting yourself out there, you have to go that extra mile of being appreciative, humble, thanking them. It's funny, I do local television, and I don't run into it as much as you do, I don't think, but I always carry business cards with me, and I always give them to the people, and I go, look, hey, for recognizing me, here's my card. If there's anything I can do to help you, all you have to do is reach out. And it just blows them away, because I know a lot of people that do what you do and do what I do, that if somebody comes up to them, oh, they hate it. They hate it. And I tell them, I go, if you hate it, get out of it, because you can't be that way. You have just earned a new friend, and you have to treat that person like a friend.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that's always interesting, because it's sometimes hard on the creator or the personalities end, because they know a lot about you, but you probably don't know anything about them. So it's a power dynamic in that like relationship that I think is very interesting, and something that I never really understood before. So it's I'm still excited.
I still don't. My wife says, "Who was that?" I says, "Beats the hell out of me. I have no idea who it was." But I'll talk to him like as if we were best friends. But you know what? And that's the way. To me, that's the way you need to do it. I think that's really cool. But hey, I guess we're going to keep him for the next segment.
We are.
Don't you touch that dial phone. Hey, our freedom of speech is just as important as our freedom of self-defense. We are thrilled to support an American company like MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com and use the code FREEMARKET3 and get up to 66% off America's best pillow. Get a great night's sleep and enjoy the satisfaction of supporting companies fighting against cancel culture. That's MyPillow.com, and use the FREEMARKET3 for up to 66% off. All right, we got Reno May on the line, and he's a YouTube star, and he didn't realize he was a star, but now he's being recognized. So I guess he's a star after all. All right, you don't have to answer this, but is Reno May your real name?
That's I got to answer that with a little bit of a statement first.
Okay.
So I get two questions or two things said to me most often when people meet me. The first is, wow, I didn't think you were that tall, because I'm 6'2", and it's kind of hard to tell when I'm sitting by myself in a room pointed from chest up.
That's what I would have said. You don't look that tall sitting on your videos.
And then, is that your real name? And yes, it is. It's kind of funny, because I never really got that growing up, when I would introduce myself to people, or if like but now that the channel, I think people think it's a stage name, because so many people go by stage names on YouTube. And nope, I just chose my real name.
Okay, so did you ask your mom and dad, why did you call me Reno? I mean, were they a fan of Reno, Nevada?
I had to ask, because everyone always assumes the most obvious answer.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of funny. I was born 5 weeks early, so very, very early. And they hadn't quite set on a name yet. And my mom went into labor, or went into the hospital, because she wasn't feeling well. She was feeling some pains, and they were like, over a month away. That couldn't possibly be that, right? So they go to the hospital, and she says, I'm feeling discomfort. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to get you ready. You're going to be giving birth today. So they hadn't quite set on the name yet. They wanted something unique. And my dad got the phone call from him from work, was driving over, and he saw a sign that said, Reno, Nevada, so many miles away, or like come visit Reno, something like that. Okay. And he said, what about that? And there it is.
How cool is it? I was going to say, because was there an old cowboy in the cowboy movies?
There was always an old cowboy named Reno.
There was always a cowboy named Reno. All right. Well, we digress, but our listeners and all your fans, I'm sure, feel much better today than they did a few minutes ago.
Got to go ahead and answer that one right
Yeah,
off
I did. Well, I get off air and Wendy says, I don't think we should ask him that. That's kind of private. I go, look, if he sticks himself out there on all these YouTubes, he's gunning for it. He's going to get it.
Somebody's already asked him that, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, so Wendy, you had some more questions.
Meet and greet, that was the most common question.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, we did. It was super fun to have you at the Route 66 event.
It was super fun.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments about being surprised at how tall you were, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
being 5 weeks early, that's even amazing.
Very, very blessed. Very happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you do a lot of recording. You've got a ton of videos out there. What you normally release at least 1 or 2 videos a week, right?
Yeah, it's usually about 2 a week. Sometimes it's more. Yeah.
So do you release a video that pops into your head, or do you have a schedule? Do you have an outline of, say, 10 videos that you want to do in the next 2 weeks?
I kind of just fly by the seat of my pants for the most part. I mean,
I had a feeling. You're driving down the road.
A lot of it is,
somebody cuts you off, and you go, I'm going to go home and do a video on that guy.
Yeah, it's a lot of, just current events as laws come up, especially with, things like the recall election, talking about that. I was kind of waiting because I didn't want to make too many videos talking about it. I wanted it to kind of be like, hey, here's my strategy. And my strategy is this. First of all, I'm voting yes to recall.
Right.
And then I'm going to walk into the polling location. And before I do that, I'm going to look at who's the highest polling person that I feel comfortable with,
right?
And I'm going to vote for them.
Hey,
and that's my plan.
You should do a video on the proper throwing of an egg, because that lady was terrible. Well, Joe is kind of the same way. He's our infamous blogger. And Joe, don't you kind of run into the same thing? You don't really have 10 blogs that you're going to do. It's what the current affairs and what you hear or see motivates you.
Mine are kind of a mix, because I'll have usually 3 or 4 or 5 even ideas like on deck, and then like Reno's saying, I'll see something because I read a lot every day, and I'll see something. It's, oh, okay, I got to do that one. And some things are time sensitive. Some things, I have to draw. You got to do that one like in the next day or two, or it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And then some of the other ones I have on deck really aren't time sensitive, so I can do those later. So I kind of do a mix of things.
So,
I think that's the big thing is some stuff. It's like, man, like I could have had another video planned today, but it's like this has to go out now.
Yeah.
So Reno, you do so many videos. Do you have a favorite video that you've done?
Oh my gosh.
I think it would have to be a tie between my How to Buy a Gun in California videos, the most recent one that was in 2020, and the Good Cause for Concealed Carry in California, because I think those had the biggest impact. And so many people would comment saying like, oh, I wasn't comfortable with the process of buying a gun, but I saw your video and it broke it down, and now I did. And I think that's huge, because California, if you didn't grow up around guns and you didn't really have someone there to show you the ropes, it's complicated enough to where it might discourage someone from walking in that door.
Absolutely.
And if I can get them to walk in that door and feel comfortable and ready to go, then that's mission accomplished,
So if I was to look for your videos, and I am slightly older than dirt, how would I go about that? If I go to YouTube, do I just put your name in?
Yep. Go on YouTube, type in RENO space MAY, and it should show right up.
Okay.
If you have any questions about how to buy guns or any gun question, if you type that into Google, it might show my face a few times. It just depends on what you Google.
But you'll only look like you're 3 feet tall because it's from the waist up.
Exactly.
What about a fun video? What's the video that you had the most fun shooting?
I think that would have to be a tie between some of the gun videos that I've made reviewing firearms and the videos that we put out regarding the meet and greet events that we did with Route 66, because that was it was so cool being able to meet so many people. I think the most recent one with Anthony that we did, the Armed in May event, over 2,000 people were there over the 2 days, one of those days being Mother's Day. So that was impressive to see that much of a turnout. And I think that was probably the most fun, just because it was such an experience, the process doing it. And then, obviously shooting guns is really cool. So anytime I get to shoot a gun and talk about it in a video, that's always really fun for me.
So when you're going to review a gun, do you have to go to a gun store, or are the gun manufacturers recognizing you as a viable tool to talk about their gun?
There's two guns that I got sent or been given. One of them was the Franklin Armory CA-11, and that ended up being a very prosperous relationship between the two of us because of the stuff that they were doing with the Title I, having the 3 handguns on the roster. They approached me when I was around 2,000 subscribers. So that was really cool of them, and I'm so appreciative of them getting in on the ground floor and helping me out there. And then the other one that I got sent it kind of happened organically because, again, it was another company that it was like I was going to be talking about these people anyway. Second Amendment Zone down in, I think they were in Rancho Cucamonga. I can't remember the exact city they're in now, but they do some single shot conversion for the SIG P320. And I had made some videos previously talking about some of the stuff they did, and they ended up saying, hey, as like a thank you, because you've sent us so much business, I'd like to send you out this fire control unit for the P320. So yeah, I'm still at a point where I buy most of the stuff with, my own money that I make from the channel.
Gotcha. Well, the reason I bring it up is because Joe is our product reviewer, and I keep telling him, just reach out to these companies and tell them what you're going to do, and they'll send it to you. And he goes, okay, and then he goes down and he buys it.
I was buying them anyway,
So he hasn't got it quite figured out yet, but I think you're absolutely correct, and you're doing it. I mean, they're coming to you, which is huge. So I cannot wait to see your videos, because your videos must be compelling enough for a manufacturer to come to you, which is a true compliment on what you're doing.
And you must be living the dream to just be able to use the money that you make from the channel to help grow the channel,
to feed your illness.
Well, hey, to be fair though, the bug assault gun people did send me a bug assault gun, which turned out to be one of the best reviews here.
Like
have you got one of those yet, Reno?
I do. I think I saw some new ones that they have that look like they might be CO2 powered. I don't know if that's what I was seeing, but I saw something that was shooting with some velocity, and I was like, that's borderline on a firearm.
Yeah. Rick was nice enough they sent us one, and my wife has dogs and we have horses in our area, and I always yell at her when she leaves the door open. Now I just leave the door open because, man, I am getting really good. I got a red dot on mine. That thing is bad. That thing's bad to the bone, I'm telling you.
All right, before we wrap up.
Before we digress.
We had such a good time at the Armed in May event. I wanted to see if you had anything in the works for any events like that, or if you're coming down to San Diego anytime soon. We'd love to do another meet and greet.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about a date, but I know at some point we want to do more like pop-up events down at Route 66, just maybe like I'll show up with like a day notice. We would obviously talk to vendors maybe in advance because it'd be a little harder to get you guys out there. Because we think that would be cool as like a little like organic thing. And I'd love to do that more often all over the state. Like if there were other ranges that wanted to have me out. So if anyone's listening and anyone knows, I'd love to be able to, I don't know, maybe brighten someone's day and show up. Yeah. But as of right now, nothing's set in stone, but we definitely want to come back to Route 66 a lot more often.
And what is we? Who is we?
Me and my buddies who I have tag along with us for the most part.
Just double checking.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, again, just go to YouTube, put in Reno May.
Yep, Reno May. Just type it in and it should show right up.
All right, can't wait.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Take care. We look forward to talking to you down the road. Stay close.
Right on.
All righty. So,
Note says, welcome, Mike and Keith from Gun Experiment Podcast.
Yeah, we could welcome them. It doesn't, if
Yeah,
they
that's
didn't
just a
call,
welcome.
call.
No, don't we have Wendy? We have them on, don't we?
okay.
No, we don't.
Oh, we don't. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what we were just talking about.
I'm not paying attention as usual. But hey, we do want to talk about PRMI Mortgage, primeres.com/Alpine. Are you in the military? Are you looking for help with a VA loan? Well, if you're looking to buy or refi, or if you're considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Call Chris Wiley at 619-722-1303 or primeres.com/Alpine. All right, since our guest has not been able to call in as yet,
Let's just chat about what's going
Gun
on
prom.
in the Second Amendment world.
or the gun prom, because I think
Sure.
it's really important. If you've never been, it is the most fun you will have with a bunch of like-minded Second Amendment.
With 950 something.
Jeez.
A little bit more than that now.
Like-minded?
Yeah. I think that's so what you were saying about being in the same room with all of these
Like-minded
other
people, yeah.
like-minded people. I think that is the biggest feedback that we get is that it's so amazing to see that many people who are that supportive of the Second Amendment having so much fun and getting dressed up. We get people who come in jeans and cowboy boots. But
Tex
we
Ritter
also,
over here.
Oh, I'll be in jeans and cowboy boots. I'll throw a sport coat on. but-
I may have been talking about Joe Dramisi.
Hey, I
but
just bought a new hat. I just came back from Austin. I bought a new pair of cowboy boots.
That's right. And I do break out the rattlesnake boots for the gun
nice
prom.
boots. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But we've got people in tuxedos. We've got really nice suits. We've got ball gowns. We've got cocktail dresses. It's just a lot of fun. It's a nice way to celebrate your Saturday night. And
But it is nice, the point you were making before about how what's the word? How
community and the
just being in there with that many people that are pro Second Amendment, like-minded people that are normal.
Yeah.
And you get a variety of people. I mean, you'll see truck drivers, teachers, lawyers, doctors, politicians. I mean,
Right.
just a whole. And what it is, I mean, it's a cross section of America. It's everybody.
Yeah,
Have you
it's
noticed?
just
Have you
friends
noticed when
and-
the politicians, when you talk to the politicians at this event, they're just like you and I.
And I think that's the appeal of
I
the
do
entire
too.
event is that everybody there they're friends, they're neighbors, family members, coworkers. Like Joe said, it's just literally a cross section.
They're not trying to get your vote.
Yeah.
They're not trying to get you to donate. They just love the fact that you and they are on the same page.
Well, and you do run into people too that surprise you that they're there, and I think you'll see more of that this year because it's such a big crowd. And because Dave was talking about having that experience, and some friends of ours actually, there was a guy at our table, Tommy Rendine, used to work with your wife years ago.
Oh my God!
Ran into her there. There was another guest that we had at our table that ran into a former boss that had no idea they were gun owners or anything. So it was you'll see a lot of that.
We've had that happen a couple of times. It's always really fun.
Yeah. And it just makes for a better event. And where's the gun prom going to be?
It is at the Town and Country Hotel, October 16th.
All remodeled.
What was that?
It
is all remodeled. It looks super nice.
Have you been down? I haven't been down yet.
Yeah. They've remodeled the entire property. It looks really beautiful. Wow. So if you haven't stayed there recently, it's a great staycation.
Hey, guess what? Mike and Keith could hear us yelling, "Where's Mike and Keith?" Because guess what? They're on the line.
Here.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're doing well. How are you?
Doing well.
Just living the dream, talking guns, talking Second Amendment right here on radio. So how bad could it be, right?
We were in a little bit of a slow gear, but we're getting going now.
Well, awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
So you guys run a podcast called The Gun Experiment. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the theme of the podcast is?
Yeah, I mean, so the name kind of gives away a little bit, but the gun experiment. It was the idea was basically we don't claim to be experts. We don't know everything. And but we're gun enthusiasts and certainly advocates for the Second Amendment. So we're just trying to experiment with different concepts and everything from shoot and trap to self-defense and long-range shooting. And we get the chance to talk to experts in the field, and we get to learn quite a bit of cool stuff. It's a good experience.
Is it like a gun podcast version of Mythbusters?
Oh, that's interesting.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, we've thrown around a couple ideas like that, but no, we've not done anything like that yet.
Yeah,
I mean, the closest thing we came is we used a cantaloupe as a test dummy on some body armor.
Yeah,
okay.
Which was fun.
Yeah, the cantaloupe bruised.
Yeah, I can hear you two arguing. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. No, go ahead, you can do it. No, I'm not doing that.
Well, we do put a lot of competition. We're both very, very competitive people, and actually, I think that's probably really how Mike and I really became really close friends, was through competition.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So how do you know each other?
We're neighbors. We only live a couple hundred yards from each other. I actually ride my bicycle to his house.
Very cool.
And he moved into the neighborhood first. I came in shortly after him, and we just hit it off after that. And he invited me on the gun experiment as the first guest, which no one has ever heard, luckily, and asked me to stay. And I've just kind of stuck around since then.
Yeah, so I pitched that first episode.
So you didn't know each other before you moved into the neighborhood?
No. We actually did go to the same high school, but Keith is a few years younger than me, so we never really crossed paths in high school. But I think that was kind of part of when we first met. It was like, oh, yeah, you went there too? And it kind of, oh, you like guns too? And next thing we knew, we were fast friends, I guess you could say.
How cool is that? Well, everything's meant to be for a reason, so that was probably why you two guys hooked up. So that's interesting. So you talk to people in the industry. Do you review guns and gear and what have you?
Yeah, the show is kind of like, we kind of segment it up. So we always usually start off with an interview, and we'll have somebody in the industry or someone of interest, and then we'll do some different segments. So we do everything from a gear review segment. We do a segment called Let's Mix It Up, which is it's usually gun related, but we just kind of change the topic from an interview to maybe picking that person's brain on their expertise or just something. We recently did like court cases, and then we do Second Amendment lawyer from Pennsylvania. Yeah, Joshua Prince. Yeah, and it was a great conversation just about overall Second Amendment laws in different areas of interest. Like what was he specialized in being able to do trusts, really. And then we got talking about some Supreme Court cases that were coming up in New York, especially. We for those that don't know, Mike and I live in the dark side of New York. I know you guys are from California. You deal with a lot of the same stuff we deal with.
Yeah.
So we've had all different people on. We've had a traveling gypsy, as we like to call her, Taylor. Yep.
Yeah, I heard one of their most popular segments was when they interviewed Michael Schwartz and Joe Dramisi from San Diego County Gun Owners.
Yeah. Yeah, those wise guys showed up for sure.
Learned a lot on that one, I bet.
So it sounds like you do a little bit of everything, which is very cool. A really great way to keep in touch with what's going on in the Second Amendment world. So how would you say that your podcast is different than other Second Amendment podcasts out there?
Well, I mean, I think everybody's kind of touching on, everyone cross paths, right? We're definitely all sort of touching on similar things. I think really for us, what's different is exactly what I said about the title. It's basically two jokers just trying to kind of find our way in this Second Amendment world. And, a lot of people, first of all, there are people out there that are experts, right? So they're definitely, there's a niche for that. But I really am very proud of the fact that we're very kind of like an open book in terms of bringing on. I had someone reach out the other day. He's an ATM technician, so he works on ATMs. And he was like, "Have you ever thought about having an ATM technician on your show?" And I was like, "No, not at all." And then I said, I don't see the angle. And then he started telling me about some of the crazy stories that he has to deal with, and he does carry a gun. And I was like, well, I'm not exactly opposed to it. I will think of how we could maybe work on this, and I will consider definitely having you on maybe. So we're very open-minded to the types of guests.
Very Very cool. So tell us how to find you, what platforms you're on.
So as far as the podcast, we're basically on every directory out there. In terms of listening to episodes, if you don't want to, I'm sure a lot of people listen to either Apple or Spotify, but we do have a website, thegunexperiment.com. Episodes are listed there as well, and our mailing list is there. We're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram is probably where I spend most of my time, and that's where people can DM me and reach out to me. Keith doesn't do any social media, so trying to stay off that as long as possible.
Smart man.
Yeah, bold move. So what you guys have posted an episode recently. You want to tell us about your most recent episode?
Yeah, I think the most recent one was Nighthawk Customs, correct? Oh gosh, I lost track. Yeah, Nighthawk was definitely one of the last. Yeah, I think Nighthawk Customs. So we have the guys from Nighthawk Customs, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but they build beautiful custom 1911. Mark and Mick, right? Mickey and Mark, yeah. And so we had those guys on there from Arkansas, and we had a blast. Yeah, if you've never met them, they are. Could you say they're what you'd expect from Arkansas? Well, I mean, I definitely made a comment in the episode that there was an Arkansas comment for sure. I mean, they were a lot of fun. Yeah. And they were cool guys that I just wanted to go to Arkansas and check them out.
All right. So this segment, we're going to be talking about Joe's latest blog called The Witch is Dead.
Oh,
and I'll
right.
let you guys guess who the witch is.
I can't believe I just read it. I'm so excited right now. I can't even hardly see straight. But before that, did you know John Dillon is the attorney on the Miller versus Bonta case and the Jones versus Bonta case? In other words, he's working to remove the assault weapons ban and working to restore the Second Amendment right for 18 to 21-year-olds. And if you have legal matters that involve firearms that you need, then you need to call our attorney, John Dillon, especially if you have questions about red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you just need to know that your guns are California compliant. Call our trusted firearms attorney, John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. Just call 760-642-7150, or you can visit him at the website at dillonlawgp.com. All right, Joe, the witch is dead. What does that mean?
No, it means another good blog article, and I know you're just chomping at the bit to get to that. But first, before I do that, though, I got something for you that Nina came across and thought that Dave would like this.
What's that?
So I brought it in for you. And
what is it?
Here, actually, let me pass it over to you, and then you can grab it out of there. Because I figured I'd do this while we're on live, so you'd have to be nice about it.
Da-da-da. Look at that. Wait, you guys could.
On earth?
For those that are listening on the radio, he has an M&M toy.
Hey, I have YouTube thanks to.
I know that, but I'm just saying people are listening on the radio.
That I have 27 of these
with teddy bear slippers on a magic carpet.
Yeah, and the way it works, see, you put your
and the lazy boy actually works,
and the candy comes out of the bottom.
It's a candy.
You tell Nina she is the best.
Well, she saw that and it just screamed Dave Stahl at her.
Oh, my God. And that's me when I'm not doing radio.
Sitting in your lazy boy watching TV.
I got my slippers on, my fingers on the remote. Tell her thank you very much. How sweet is that? See, this whole segment's the best segment yet because the witch is dead.
Yeah, there you go. So the witch
Are you not worried about that guy?
Which guy?
The witch?
No, not anymore. I'm not. I was.
You want your bag? You can have your bag.
No, you can have bags. I hate those bags.
I do too.
All right. So one of us will take the bag. But yeah, the witch is dead. So the Chipman nomination. David Chipman was the crackpot, I guess is a good word for it, that the Biden administration had nominated to head the ATF. And, it was a long kind of drawn out process in the Senate. And, finally things were looking bad, and they finally withdrew the nomination the other day, which was a really great thing because I think, I think all Americans really dodged a major bullet with this guy, being withdrawn. And it's interesting, the ATF, a lot of the agencies now have been politicized, and they've done a lot of damage probably in the last 10, 15 years with credibility and everything with a lot of these agencies like the FBI and the IRS and especially the ATF. But the ATF has always been a highly political. Michael calls them a predatory agency, I think.
Which he's true. That's true.
Yeah, and they don't tend to focus so much on criminals. It seems like they focus more on harassing law-abiding citizens.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always been a very political organization. So much so that over the last 15 years, I think it was, they've only had one confirmed director in the last 15 years, and that was for about a 3-year period under the Obama administration. All the rest of the time, it's been a temporary person because neither party has really been able to, get someone through the Senate process, the confirmation process. And, a lot of times, and I think that the right is a little less bad at this than the left is, but, someone like Chipman, for instance, I mean, why, what possible good could it be to put an extremist, a gun control lunatic, at the head of the ATF? I mean, it's because Chipman was I think a 25-year veteran with the ATF. He was an agent. He worked in the ATF for most of his career. He left the ATF, and I want to say back in 2013, somewhere back in there, and joined the Giffords, anti-gun group, and where he was a senior policy advisor. And he's a very hardcore anti-gun person. And I mean, if you're trying to put someone, in control of the ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, put somebody that's at least reasonably, capable of trying to be a little bit even-handed about how they go about applying things. Chipman's not the guy, and even as far as left-wing extremists go, I mean, I think I wrote about him probably about a month ago or so when he was first nominated, and he's like a lunatic's lunatic. He's nutty even for that side, and there were all sorts of videos of him on different talk shows, news shows, things like that, describing gun bans and different things like that he would that he advocated, making fun of first-time gun owners. There's been a big surge in first-time gun buying the last couple of years because of a lot of the stuff that's been going on. And, there was the one, and I can't remember if it was a Sunday morning show or a CNN interview, something like that, where, he was talking about first-time gun owners being afraid that the zombies are coming, and just making fun of people like that. And that's the kind of person that he is. And, you can see some of a lot of the senators had problems with him. And there was one, and I want to say it was Rand Paul that was discussing it with him, that was asking him to define an assault rifle, because
actually that was Lindsey Graham.
Was it Lindsey Graham that was doing that?
And he wanted to know to explain.
I got him mixed up with Fauci.
No. Who's the guy? Kennedy from Louisiana.
Oh, is that who it was?
Yeah.
You're sure?
I'm positive it was Kennedy from Louisiana, because he says define a.
He just
AR.
asked him to define it, and he
would
not.
Well, he couldn't.
Well, he refused to, though, because I'm just going to accept.
Well, that's up to the Congress.
Yeah,
that's up to Congress.
And the senator that was talking to him, whoever it was, Kennedy.
Yeah, it's Kennedy.
Was saying, well, what is your definition? If I ask you specifically, how do you define it? And he could not or would not, just refused to do it.
I don't think he could. I don't think he really knew, because we all know an assault weapon there's no such thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And he was talking about, what they would like to do is just ban anything that's semi-automatic. And you've heard that come out of the Biden administration too. So this is a good thing this didn't work. And, the majority that they have, I guess the Senate is 50-50, with Kamala Harris would be the deciding vote in a tie.
Right.
And, normally they could count on some of the usual Republicans that don't even pretend to support the values that the other Republicans pretend to support.
Right.
But usually you can count on either Murkowski or Collins or Romney to cross over and support them. But even they
wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it. And Susan Collins from Maine actually came out and said specifically she's looked at everything, she's talked to her constituents, and for some reason she couldn't support this guy.
Guy's a Looney Tune.
And and the last one, I think the one that actually caused it to get withdrawn, there's a senator named Angus King, King is also from Maine, and King is an independent officially, but he caucuses with the Democrats, so he tends to vote that way. But when he came out and said, he just can't support the guy, that was the last kind of the last straw, so that's what made them withdraw that. But like I said, that was a really just a really good thing. So I don't know what will happen.
Or who they'll plug in next.
Yeah, I'm not sure because now you've got, hopefully it's done
Beto?
for now. Well, because 2022 is going to be coming
What
around.
about Beto O'Rourke?
He was supposed to be.
He was the gun czar.
He was going to be, and I have not seen much of that.
Funny thing, huh?
That is interesting.
See,
You're
you don't
right.
see I stay on top of this
There
stuff.
you go. Yeah.
I stay there.
All right. Older eyes sometimes have trouble switching focus between your front sight and your target. Let's see if Joe's found a solution.
But first, we are so proud to partner with the National Concealed Carry Association as a 10-ring partner. NCCA exists to serve the Second Amendment community by providing a nationwide network of 2A advocates. They offer elite self-defense and concealed carry training from the nation's top instructors. They provide rock-bottom prices on the best selection of gear and accessories. You can join them today. Members get great prices and free shipping. You can learn a whole lot more about them at the National Concealed Carry Association.com. All right, Joe, what do you got for us old eyes?
So what we have here are some shooting glasses from SSP Eyewear that you can see here. And the issue that Wendy was talking about here, especially as you get older, but younger people have problems too sometimes if you wear glasses. But when you're shooting, especially with iron sights, it doesn't matter so much with the red dots. But if you're shooting with iron sights, you need to be able to focus on the sight. And that's what you're looking for. And the problem with those of us that wear glasses, like I wear my sunglasses, for instance, are prescription. They're progressive glasses. And for me, they'll focus on the front sight. The problem is I have to tilt my head back at kind of a higher angle because, where the lens is on the glass where it focuses, right up here on my front sight. If I'm looking like that, I've got to tilt my head back a little bit, which is a weird shooting position. Oh, yeah. Ideally, you'd want your head down. The problem with that is the glasses don't focus that way. With these glasses from SSP, what they've done is they've put a lens up in the top edge of the glass, so it's a bifocal.
Oh, these are prescriptions.
No, not really. You can get them prescription, I believe. These are like the cheater glasses, the reading glasses you can pick up at Costco.
Yeah.
And they come from, you can get anywhere from a 1 up to a 3.0 magnification, and they go in 0.25 increments all the way up. Mm-hmm. But they work really nice. So if you open it up, this is the top focal ultra kit, and what this comes with is you get the frames, and I've got a pair of lenses sitting in here. But you get the frames, and what you get is 3 lenses. So you get clear lenses, or 3 sets, actually, of clear. You have amber, and then you have smoke-colored, the darker ones. And you get 3, again, sets out here, the same colors. The difference is on these 3 sets, the bifocal part or the magnifier part is at the top. On these, it's at the bottom. So what they talk about... Well, it's interesting. What they talk about on the website is that you could put one lens in one side, one in the other side. So you could say use one eye to see out the top. You could use the other eye to look out the bottom, which I don't know that I would do.
Have you tried that? Did you try that?
I don't think so. It doesn't sound like something I would do. But what I needed and what worked really well is if you could see these. So if you could kind of see there, so you've got the magnifying glass at the top and then just clear glass at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And if you put these guys on, typically, if you're firing a handgun, you've got the gun out in front of you, and then what you're doing is your head should be down about like this. And if I look about down like that, I'm really focused right there where my front sight is.
Right.
So it's really helpful because with my other glasses, I have to kind of shoot like that, and it's weird. And it's great if you're shooting through iron sights. It works really well. I just tried a red dot out now on my 34, so it doesn't matter so much with the red dots. But like on my carry gun that has iron sights, on my 1911, it's iron sights. And these work just great. And you get these interchangeable lenses, and they pop right out. So what you do is you kind of squeeze the lens a little bit, and it just pops out. So you can see there's a little kind of indent on the lower right side, then on the upper left side. and they just pop right into the lens. So you just kind of fit that in there like that, and then squeeze it again, pop the other side in. Whoops.
Makes for easy cleaning of the lenses, too.
There you go. Yeah, and you could switch them back and forth because these actually work really well. And what I've done when we're teaching the concealed carry classes, some of the classes are indoor, some are on the outdoor range. So for all the indoor ones, I typically use these because a lot of times what you're doing there is you're demonstrating things. So you're kind of lining up, and you're holding the gun, you're shooting, and you're trying to make a tiny little circle there. And, these work really well. They work a little bit, I don't say they work less well. They're less necessary, I think, like shooting matches and things, because you tend to be moving around. You're in different weird positions, so it's not quite as helpful. You're not quite as lined up as you would be if you're just shooting in a range. But for doing the range stuff, for teaching classes, this thing is great. For just sitting there, doing practice or training or something like that, these things are outstanding. They and I like them a lot. So, like I said, I switch back and forth. If I'm at the indoor range, I'll wear the clear lenses like this. You saw it just takes a second to pop in the either the amber lenses if you're outside
or outdoor,
or they've got a darker smoke colored lens, which all three of these work great. So I'll tend to bounce back and forth.
What would be the application for the darker lens?
Just a sunnier day out there. It's a real bright day.
Like an overcast day, you'd probably use the yellow.
Yeah, I remember from my ski patrol days, on days where it was overcast, the light was real flat. The yellow amber lenses work really well. The darker ones are okay, but like where we used to see it is you can't pick up the things in the snow. You can't see the little divots and bumps and holes and things like that. But you can see them really well with the yellow lenses, and I think it's probably the same out here. This time of year, I haven't had a chance to try it with a cloudy day yet, but I'll try those in there. But they work really well, and this is the Top Focal Ultra Kit. So for $129, you get all these. So you get the frame, you get 3 pair with the bifocal in the top, or you get 3 pair of lenses with the bifocal in the bottom. And like I said, the magnifications go from a 1.0 up to a 3.0, and they go in 0.25 increments.
So what are the lens replacement costs? So you don't have to buy the whole set. Say you wanted to buy, say you scratched the one of the yellow lenses. Do you know what those individual?
That's a good question that I do not have an answer for you. But if you look on their website,
it'll tell you.
You can get all of these things. You can buy just a single pair of glasses. They do glasses specifically for hunting, for shooting. They have just sunglasses, polarized sunglasses on there. There's several different kinds of kits like this one. This happens to be the Ultra Kit. But there was several different kinds like that. So they have quite a variety up there. And they do
different frames as well. I mean, different styles,
they
colors.
Because, what I was thinking, wow, it'd be nice maybe to have another frame so I could have one rigged up, say, with the sunglasses, one rigged up clear.
I was thinking the same thing.
And that is probably, that's an idea, but then these things pop out so easily. I mean, you saw how long it took me just to...
Yeah, but you know what? When you popped them out, now you've got to clean them because you just got your fingerprints all over them.
I did. That's true. And,
so
they will be a little bit
grimy.
two
sets,
you would not have to do that. Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah, that's probably a good way to go with that.
The price is more than reasonable.
That's what I was thinking because, for glasses, especially a decent pair, because, when you're shooting like that, I've done this for years now, so my head's always in a goofy position. I got used to it. But it was actually nice to be able to shoot correctly with these things. And this is a really inexpensive solution to that, because if you go through, because I've looked at getting prescription shooting glasses, and they're pricey if you want to get them with your prescription in it. And then, figuring out, do you get them just exactly this way? Which is, I'm assuming, what you would do. So, and then they're only going to be pretty much good for shooting like that. Do you, Wendy, do you wear glasses, or do you have that issue?
I wear contacts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have that. Do contacts focus like that? On your front sight, do you have...
No, I do have a little bit of astigmatism, which doesn't help. But without the astigmatism, the eyes with contacts should focus normally. So I don't have that close, far problem. But now that I'm getting astigmatism, it's starting to.
So you don't
get
have
funky.
you don't have to hold your head at an odd angle to focus on your front sight.
Not with my contacts. No.
Oh, okay, good. Without your contacts.
Without my contacts, I pretty much can't see anything. So.
So we're not going to hit anything.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I thought these were just a great alternative. So I was really happy with these things. So I will definitely be using these, especially on my indoor range stuff. And SSP Eyewear was nice enough to give us a promo code. So for the listeners of Gun Owners Radio, so just Gun Owners Radio will get you 15% off.
Wow.
On these things. And actually for members of San Diego County gun owners, there's an even better discount of 25%.
What are the promo codes?
For the promo codes for our listeners are just Gun Owners Radio. That's the promo code. The promo code for 25% off is a secret that you'll hear about when you join San Diego County Gun Owners.
Ah,
so
very good.
That's Rich's secret idea. But yeah, these are good. I can't say enough about these glasses. They're really fun to shoot with. Like I said, they work indoors and outdoors, which again for me was a big deal. I just decided to take the plunge and go with the red dot sights, and I'm trying them out on my Glock 34 now. And my plan was because I'm going to be shooting the gas match at Gunsight here on the 2nd of October, I think it is. And I am not used to the red dot yet.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that would pressure me into training with them, but it's not working so far.
I have a quick question about the comfort of the glasses, though. Do you normally wear over-the-ear protection?
I do. It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm at the indoor range, I'll wear the headset kind of things like this.
Yeah.
And they were real comfortable with those on. When I'm outside now, because it's so hot this time of year, I'll tend to wear a bigger hat, and I've got the electronic. Actually, I use the Grizzly ears now when I'm outside, so those are working.
Okay.
But you can try these out. You can see how they feel under your headset
I
there.
just noticed they have a curved the eye pieces.
The earpiece.
The earpiece. It's got a name, I'm sure. It's pretty
Frame.
curved. The frame, sure. There we go. And so I was just curious about how it fit underneath.
With me, they're real comfortable, and I didn't have a problem at all.
Oh my God, I feel old. The bifocal.
Yeah, you'll get there.
I'm already there. Okay, those are comfy. Yeah.
So do they have different sizes for different size heads, or does one size fit all?
That they do talk about that. That size is supposed to go up to an extra large head, whatever that is. So when Michael comes back, I'll bring him in next week. We'll try it. Anything to say over here?
Did you see everybody take off like rats in the barn, man?
We got distracted. We were talking about first aid.
That's why I yelled as loud as I did. Hey, folks, did you know law-abiding gun shops and manufacturers have their credit card processing shut down because their vendors think guns are inappropriate? Well, shutting down businesses that support your constitutional right to self-defense is wrong, which is why we are so excited to have 365 Glacier Payments as a 10-ring partner. 365 Glacier Payments specializes in companies in the firearm industry. If you have a business that accepts credit cards, give them a call today so you can enjoy the peace of mind that your accounts won't be shut down and also enjoy the best rates. Visit their website at 365glacierpayments.com and ask for a free account review. And if they can't beat your credit card processing rates, they'll pay you $100. Not bad. So this is open mic for 15 minutes, even though he's not here.
I could probably, I'll try to step into his shoes.
I think you could. In fact, I was talking to a young lady just the other day about NotMeSD.
Very
because
nice.
she was, she heard that I had a gun show, and she says, I can't find anybody in the family. Nobody wants to. I go, you don't need them.
Yeah.
Just go to
NotMeSD.
And they will hook you up.
Yeah.
They'll do everything from training to getting you the proper firearm. And in some situations, if your financial situation is in a way, they can even help you get not only a gun, but the training is the most important thing. And then you become part of their family, because once you start with NotMeSD, that's just like you got a new sister.
That's right. Thanksgiving dinner, you get to go to all that stuff.
It is. You know what, though? It is a total sisterhood. We have seen so much connection and communication between the ambassadors and their participants, and among the ambassadors, among the participants. It's been really, really cool to see. We actually did a seminar yesterday at P2K. It was an introduction to firearms course. So we covered a couple of basic things, how to pick a gun, what's the difference between a semi-automatic and a revolver, what kinds of things do you want to think about when you're selecting a gun to purchase. And, even just within that little class, we had a couple of ladies who exchanged their information and they want to go shooting together, and it's super fun. So we are super proud of our program. We create an environment where women can ask all the questions that they want. Reno May was saying earlier how he gets a lot of people who come to him and say, I know absolutely nothing about guns. There's so much information out there. I know 0 gun owners and I don't know who to ask.
Help me,
please. And so we have these other women who are experienced gun owners who have gone through the experience of purchasing and selecting a firearm, getting training that is appropriate for where they are in their journey. And most of them also have their CCW. So these ambassadors are able to really help these other women feel comfortable with making sure that they're asking the right kinds of questions, making sure they have, at least semi-verified information, not just some random link on YouTube or Google, because there's a lot of great information out there, but there's also a lot of bad information. And if they're anything like I was when I first started Googling gun information, I really was hesitant to trust any of that information. I just didn't know what was considered good information.
You don't trust Google?
Not normally.
I can't believe it. You do.
Oh, I believe every word of it.
I know you do. Well, I think the people that I've talked to that have been in the program, it was life-changing.
Right.
I've actually had people tell me it was life-changing.
That's really cool.
And haven't you had over 400 women?
We're
through
just
that
about
now?
to hit 500.
Right.
That's just in San Diego. We started Not Me RC, which is based out of Riverside County, earlier this year. We also started Not Me OC this past summer, so we're chugging along.
San Bernardino too, right?
San Bernardino's coming along.
Okay.
We're working on it. But, we're starting to create a community between all of these women. We're doing a lot of more outreach at, other women-specific events.
And the reason you're saying it's coming along, folks, in case you're wondering why there's a little bit of hesitancy, you have to have the right people running these programs. You can't just have anybody willy-nilly that wants to come in and do this. They got to have that same kind of mission statement that we have here in San Diego, NotMeSD. Is that kind of a fair statement?
That's a very good point. The people who help make this program possible are, they're the backbone of the program. So we need to have the right people in place to be able to promote this program. The other thing is, if you're in San Bernardino, you can definitely reach out to our Riverside program. If you're in LA, you can reach out to our Orange County program. What will probably happen is that we'll definitely assign you to somebody. They will help you through the process. They'll give you all the referrals that you would normally get if you were part of the program. The only caveat is that most of those resources that you will be referred to are going to be probably located in the county in which the program is based.
Right.
So if you're in LA, you might get referrals for people for gun shops or trainers or information that's located out of Orange County. The same thing applies to Riverside and San Bernardino. But there's so much overlap. A lot of the ladies who are really active in Riverside are also spending a lot of time in San Bernardino.
Sure.
Same thing with Orange County and LA. So there's still a lot of help that we can offer. But, obviously a lot of the information is going to be based out of the home base of that program.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So what's
Super
enough?
Cool. So, thanks for bringing that up. So the Enough Ordinance is a law that's being proposed by the San Diego City Council. and I can't remember exactly what enough stands for, but it's something about ending non-serialized firearms. So it's their ghost gun ban.
Ah, okay.
This now, just to let everybody know, they're doing the final vote on this ordinance on September 14th. That's this coming Tuesday. This already has gone to vote last month. In San Diego, they always do 2 readings of the ordinance to give ample opportunity for the citizens of the city of San Diego to voice their opinions about what they think about this ordinance. So the idea is that they're going to take 80% products, which are totally legal everywhere else in the country. They're saying that you're not allowed to possess, own, sell, or transfer 80% kits. So, as some of you know, there is a legal process for you to purchase an 80% kit and manufacture a firearm at your home. And then once you manufacture it, you would actually register it with the DOJ. And basically, this ordinance is saying you can't purchase it without a serial number. You have to get the serial number first. That's not the way it works in California. You have to manufacture it and then get a serial number. So they're basically putting the chicken or the egg before the cart
in front of the horse.
All of those fun
Acronyms,
things.
yeah.
And they're making it impossible for you to own
An
an
80%.
80%.
See, and this is the point Michael always makes, too, why it's so important to get involved locally, because really this goofy ordinance just applies to the city of San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
So it hurts people that live in the San Diego. It inconveniences people that live in the San Diego. It hurts gun shop owners that are unfortunate enough to own a gun shop within the city limits, because realistically, anybody that wants to buy one of those can drive a few miles to Imperial Beach, to El Cajon, to La Mesa, any place else pretty much in the state and buy the things.
Alpine.
So again, this does nothing. It just harasses people. And this is the kind of stuff you get when you get anti-gun type extremists elected locally. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. And that's what Michael always talks about with San Diego County gun owners. We can influence these elections. If you look at Joel Anderson, who's someone we endorsed at the supervisor level, won by 250 votes. That's definitely, influenceable with our, 2,800 members.
Yeah.
Dustin Trotter won by 5 votes.
Yes.
And they asked
I
for
was
a
gonna bring that
recount, and he still won by 5 votes.
He did.
But again, local elections, you can influence that way. And this is the kind of goofiness that you stop, if you can keep these people out of office locally.
Absolutely. And these are the kinds of people who are going to go to the state level or go to the federal level. These elected officials, they start at the city council level pretty much, most of them. And for us to be able to influence politics at the local level before they get to state or federal level, that's super important, because not just the elected officials are going to move on to higher office, but these ordinances move on to higher office, so to speak. There's a lot of other cities and states that look at what we're doing here in San Diego County, and they want to copy it. Our gun violence restraining orders, that program is being copied all over the country. There are other cities in California that are trying to pass similar ghost gun bans, and they're looking at the language that we're proposing here in San Diego.
And that's what California is really all about. It's a test bed for insanity. If you can get it through in California, then we can get it through here in Ohio. Yep. And I truly believe that. I mean, it's because California will jump through all the hoops. They'll do everything crazy to get it to pass, and gives everybody else a pathway to that same end result, which is what we have to stop. We have to stop that insanity. Yeah.
Exactly. So we encourage everybody to show up to the city council meeting on Tuesday.
Vote first.
Yes, vote yes on the recall first, and then log into Zoom at 10 a.m. If you visit the San Diego City Council's website, there is instructions on how to log into the Zoom meeting. And the public comment will run from 10 to 11 o'clock. They will take a recess to do closed session and lunch, and then I think they resume at 2 o'clock. So if you could set aside 10 to 11 and then 2 p.m. to whenever, they're going to be taking public comment on this ordinance.
Cool. Got to get involved, folks. Don't just say, well, I got to cut my grass. No.
This is the kind of stuff that makes a difference,
It makes a major difference.
Even though it's hard to make an influence at this kind of level, these votes are... It's hard to change someone's mind at this level, but the fact that we can
be surprised.
Well, the fact that you can make your opinion heard at
Right.
the city council level is important.
Fly in the ointment is how I like to look at it, but you just need to be polite. Don't be a butthead. Be professional. But if you continually get involved in these, they'll get to the point where they'll say, we got to make that Joe Germisi go away.
Words from an experienced fly.
I hate to tell you. All right, so who's going to do Stump My Nephew? You want me to do it this time?
Yeah, you're going to have to read the answer, Have you looked?
Oh, my God. No way. No wonder nobody wants to read this. All right, Sam, are you there?
Yeah, how are you guys?
Dude, we're going to need
we're
going to need an interpreter. This thing is crazy. So, Miguel from Riverside has a question. What is the difference between a 9mm parabellum and a 9mm luger?
What was that, Miguel from Riverside?
Uh-huh.
Thanks for sending in the question. This is one that comes up a lot at working in a gun store, which I do. They're the same round. The reason for the name difference is that Georg Luger developed the cartridge. So some people call it 9mm Luger after the man who designed it and after among the more famous early pistols to fire it. And the name parabellum comes from a Latin phrase that translates to if you desire peace, prepare for war, which was the motto of, I want to say DWM, where he was working at the time. I don't remember where he was working. I think it was DWM. But the last word in the phrase in Latin is parabellum, for war. So the parabellum name was attached to a couple of different cartridges.
All right.
Correct!
You're 100% correct, but you cheated.
Oh, it was excellent the way he avoided all those words that you're going to fight
you
with right now.
avoided DWM.
So what is that whole, what are those real words there, Sam?
Waffen und Mutenfabriken.
I would have to see it written out to be able to attempt to read it properly. But
yeah, because you're not going to hear that here. That's
Did I do good, guys? Did I do good with that?
Deutsche,
Hey, I thought
Waffen
parabellum came from John Wick.
That's right. Hoffman's as close to that as we're going to get, right?
That was the last movie he did, was Parabellum.
The Latin term came first.
Oh, look, I got Sam to laugh. I actually got Sam to laugh. That's great. All right. Well, you hit that one so far on the head. Wendy is blushing. She can't believe.
My mind is blown.
I know. The kid is... but you do get a lot of questions at the gun store?
Yeah, well, the thing is, guns have been around for a long time, obviously. And so different cartridges have some names that they share. There are several that have different names they go by. Like even just with 9mm, people call it Luger or Parabellum interchangeably. There's 9mm NATO, which it refers really to a specific loading thereof. Some people just call it 9x19 to distinguish it from other 9mm cartridges. I'm sure there's another one out there somewhere. But like 45 ACP, you'll see it written as 45 Auto instead of 45 ACP sometimes. 38 Special, you'll see often just written as 38 Special, but its full name is 38 Smith & Wesson Special, like 44 Magnum, 44 Remington Magnum, 10mm Auto, 10mm Norma Automatic. A lot of cartridges have different names they go by, and so it really helps to be able to know a lot of those, because when a customer asks for something weird, like, I need 7.65 Browning, well, what they mean is 32 ACP, so you have to be able to pick out that box instead of just standing there.
It's the very slight differences that are really confusing, like the 9x18 or a 9mm short that really confuses people.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are different
fun fact,
rounds.
my 18 Makarov isn't actually 9mm, it's 9.2 millimeters because Russians measure caliber differently.
Exactly. By the way, our German board op has got the actual pronunciation.
Deutsche Waffen- und Munitionsfabriken.
You get that?
How'd you do
I was kind
that?
of not close at all.
I went to Google Translate.
That knucklehead doesn't know what they're saying.
It sounds something like that, I guess.
Yeah,
I thought having a German last name would help me, but it doesn't.
Call your husband.
He speaks zero German.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's just like ammo. It's all off kilter too. Well, buddy, that was really you knocked that one because we were all nervous about that one only because we couldn't pronounce half the words. But good job, man. Good job.
We weren't nervous after you said you were going to do it.
Well, you never have to be nervous.
I wasn't
if
nervous.
Yeah, I'm not nervous. I don't care. I'll step on anything. But good job. Hey, by the way, speaking of ammo, are you seeing an uptick at the gun store as far as availability?
Yeah, the ammo is back on the shelves. It's been back on the shelves for a while in our area. It's kind of a regional thing.
Mm-hmm. How about what's the pricing
prices are
like?
beginning to drop slowly but surely, with one exception being that there was a run on 7.62 by 39 because of the import ban.
Mm. What's pricing?
On what?
On just ammo. I mean, is it starting to calm down as well?
Yeah.
Right.
Our litmus test or our litmus tests are really 9mm and 223 and 5.56 because those are the most common. And 9mm has dropped, I want to say, about 15% from the high points.
Gotcha.
15 or 20% from the highs.
All right, buddy. Always good talking to you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Say hi to the family.
Yeah, you too. Thanks very much for having me on. Fun question, lots to talk about there.
Absolutely. All right. Wendy, what are you taking my picture?
No, I'm getting ready for my mic drop.
Oh, you're doing a mic drop. I didn't see it on the sheet. I'm sorry.
Mic drop with Wendy. All right. So we're going to revisit the Enough Ordinance. So a few weeks ago, the San Diego City Council decided to ban chunks of metal or plastic that people intend to use to home build a gun from scratch. So yes, you heard me right. They are banning intentions. They're not clear on how they're going to determine which raw materials are intended to be used to build a gun. We've all seen online videos of people making guns in their garage out of shovels, pipes, 2x4s. Maybe we should nickname this the Ban Home Depot regulation, since everything they sell will be illegal if we start following the letter of the law here. Well, the city council is clear about their intentions, which is to ban 80% kits that people use to home manufacture firearms. Their plan is to make it illegal to buy kits unless they are already serialized. Right now, the existing procedure is to get the kit, apply for a serial number from the DOJ, and then build. So you might be saying, what's the big deal? Just serialize them. But this is a chicken or the egg or a cart before the horse issue. You can't buy the kit unless it has a registered serial number, but you can't get a serial number without a kit. So even if you have the serial number before you buy the kit, how can you get that number onto the kit before you purchase it? So this, in fact, is a de facto ban on home manufacturing firearms, no question. So what's worse? What makes it worse is that if you have a kit already, you will be turned into a criminal overnight. And if you buy a kit in another city like La Mesa, Santee, or El Cajon, and you bring that kit back to your home in the city of San Diego, you are now a criminal. You are one unexpected interaction from law enforcement away from being a criminal, even though you are not intentionally breaking a law or hurting someone, even though you're not a career criminal. So, you have a fire in your home and the cops show up? Busted. Medical emergency in your home and the cops show up? Busted. Someone breaks into your home and commits a crime against you and the cops show up? Busted. What we know is that this law won't matter to criminals in any way. Much like the other gun laws in California, this law only applies to law-abiding citizens and will not deter criminals. I brought this up at the city council meeting a few weeks ago. I made a statement before the council members, and it fell on deaf ears. Only one San Diego City Council member voted against this horrible violation to your rights, your liberty, and your freedom. So thank you, Councilmember Chris Cate, for supporting San Diego County gun owners. If you're hearing this and live within the city limits of San Diego, we need your help. Tuesday, September 14th at 10 a.m., log into the San Diego City Council meeting on Zoom and make some public comment that you are against this ordinance. I will be there on behalf of San Diego County gun owners and behalf of all gun owners in San Diego County. And this is activism. We need you to make your voice heard. Do not miss this opportunity, because together we will win. And that's your mic drop.
Mic drop. All right. Hey, folks, subscribe to our podcast. Just search Gun Owners Radio and you'll find us. Leave a 5-star review to help get the word out, and please support all our great sponsors: San Diego County Gun Owners, U.S. Law Shield, the Dillon Law Group, PRMI Mortgage, 365 Glacier Payments, Scott Vincent's at Caldwell Banking Royal Realty, and National Concealed Carry Association. And a big thanks to Wendy, Joe, Sam, the gunman, and our brother behind the board, Brendan Thomas. And remember, folks, together we can make a difference. And do not forget to grab a handful of friends and vote this Tuesday. Vote Gavin Newsom out, and then pick the candidate of your choice. We're going to take a break, and Bob Siegel is right around the corner. And I know he has got an exciting show lined up for you. Be safe. This is Gun Owners Radio, FM 96, AM 1170.
The answer.